I want to quickly get to the relation with France. It was very bad, especially during the last war. You criticized France for being a colonial power in New Caledonia, in Corsica, very harsh words. A few months ago, a French citizen, Théo Claire, was freed. There's another one who's currently on trial. You met the French president briefly on the sidelines of a European summit. Would you say that the relation is back on track, or that there are still problems between Azerbaijan and France?
You know, we were not the source of the problems with France. We had very good relations with France before the Second Karabakh War. There have been visits of presidents, of President Sarkozy, President Hollande, official visits, my official visits to France. Also, I visited France during the term of President Macron. We had very friendly relations, a lot of business activity, more than a dozen sister cities. But when the Second Karabakh War started and we started to restore our territorial integrity, unfortunately, position of France was absolutely ununderstandable, because France is defending territorial integrity of countries. It tries to defend its own territorial integrity. Now it defends the territorial integrity of Denmark. They defend the territorial integrity of Ukraine, but unfortunately they supported separatists. More than 10 resolutions of National Assembly and Senate were aimed to support separatists, and even your parliament recognized so-called Nagorno-Karabakh, though even Armenia did not recognize. Also, relations with the government were tense, but again, we were not the source of this tension. We only wanted our sovereignty to be respected.
But you use very harsh words.
Well, I did not start to use the harsh words. What was done on behalf of Azerbaijan, I want you to be absolutely sure, was only a response. We have a catalogue of harsh words which were used by French president and many French officials, chairman of your Senate, chairman of your National Assembly, your famous personalities which use the word which insulted our state and me personally. Moreover, after the Second Karabakh War of 2020, before anti-terror operation of 2023, very famous French personalities like Madame Pécresse, Monsieur Barnier, Monsieur Retallo, all the names are familiar to the audience. They illegally visited Karabakh and supported the separatists. So that was an open insult to Azerbaijan's statehood and total sign of disrespect. All what has been said or done by us was done and said in response. Maybe it was harsh, it's difficult to measure, but I think important is, as you mentioned, my meeting with President Macron in the end of last year. It was very positive, and we agreed to put a restart button. We are ready for that. The last thing we need is to have problems with any country, including France. Again, it was not our initiative, but now I think both sides are more ready to normal relations, especially after Armenia and Azerbaijan already achieved peace.
So as a conclusion, we can expect maybe you to meet the French president in the near future?
Yes, definitely. By the way, our meeting in Copenhagen was very friendly. And of course, since the meeting, it took place several months ago, there have been a lot of interaction between our teams. They regularly contact each other. There have been several meetings. Yes, there are still some issues which President Macron and myself underlined to be settled by both sides. But again, it's important to understand that it's a road with both directions. And as two sovereign countries, we need to respect each other's legal system, and also not to interfere each other's affairs. We were not the first if I may use your word to talk about Caledonia, etc., it was France who started to interfere into our internal affairs about Karabakh, and not only, even into our political agenda. So this should be stopped. And I think the way how to do it, both sides know.
President Ильхам Алиев, thank you very much for being our guest, and thank you all for watching this edition of Tête à Tête here on France 24.
Thank you.